Uh-oh. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Church Nelly, as I live and breathe, thank you so much for being here. Happy Monday to you. And also Mary H is here, Manello, Rochelle Baldreau, Brenda Gray, Mary H, B10 Powell, Rodney Jackson, Margaret Rowland. Let me see here. Let me scroll all the way down. Oh, okay. Judy, I see you're the last one to enter the chat. Oh, Lottie. Thank you so much for being here, Lottie. Okay. So, oh, my slides. Where are my slides? Let me get my slides up here. Rafaela Bertoni, thank you so much for being here. Angela One Love, thank you. Okay. Today is the 5th? Yes. All right. That's the right slide. All right. Kenetha Ash, hello. Hi, Mama Jane. Gwendolyn Daniels, thank you for being here. Okay. So, here we go. I'm going to move my face out of there just to say I did. All right. So, excuse me. So there you have it. Security concerns, and of course, the tabloid circus. What is going on with the trial? So, before we get to that, by the way, Kaboom ended at 131,000. At least that was the last time I checked. 131,000 and some change. Again, congratulations to everyone who participated, people that shared the link, and everybody in between. Thank you all so much. Again, a round of applause to everyone in the Sussex trial. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, let me see here. Connie Bomer! Hey, Connie Bomer. Janice Goodrich. I'm on. Let me see. Oh, Marshar is here. Thank you so much, Reba Henderson. All right. So again, thank you all very much. 131,000 and some change. Now, take a look here. There is David Shelburne, and may I say, anybody with hair like that, I trust the person. Look at that wall of hair, that very distinguished wall of hair that he's sporting. Now, tell me you can't look at that luscious mane and say to yourself, you know what? I trust him. I trust somebody with hair like that. His hair is trustworthy, hardworking, up early in the morning, go to bed late at night. I mean, that is some tremendous hair. If you can't trust him, then tell me, who is it in this world can't you trust? So this is the barrister. I believe that's the proper term. The barrister for Prince Harry. So it seems as though there was a bit of confusion about some things today. Let me just show you this. Look at that sea of cameras. Everybody in that group of cameramen, paparazzi, reporters, whatever, they photojournalists, I think that would be stretching it to give them anything that sounds that much like real credentials. But those thugs with the cameras, they were hoping to get a glimpse of our Harry. However, Harry didn't show up. As a matter of fact, it was not assumed that he would be there. I thought, well, you know what? Let me take that back. I did think it would be the 5th. I thought it would be the 5th. But he's not really due to take the stand until the 6th and the 7th. So I don't think it was essential for him to be there. But then people are saying that the judge expected everyone to be in court a day before they were expected to testify. So let me say this. If you guys recall, some time ago, it was said that they were going to agree upon a schedule where people would take the stand or to take the witness box. Meaning, of course, that only if you were necessarily supposed to be at court were you expected to be there. So, of course, given that schedule, that means that people were not expected to be in court if they were not expected to speak or to testify or to get cross-examined or whatever they call it. So, that being said, you have all these people. You have, of course, David Furnish, the partner of Elton John. Also, he's got some showbiz credentials. I think he's a producer. And, of course, Elizabeth Hurley, and so on. So you got all these people that are expected to, at some point, I suppose, take the witness stand. Also, with that, they said the judge required people to be there at least one day before they were needed. I don't know why. I think it was just right, Adrian Burrow. I guess it was one of those things. I'm gonna suppose it was one of those situations where in case something was needed or whatever, that you would be there. Although I don't know what that something could be, but I'm not going to second guess the intentions of the judge. I'm pretty sure. Now, people are saying that tomorrow, when Harry shows up, that he can expect, to get a stern talking to. I don't know how consistent that is. And of course, the attorney, David Shelburne, he has had something to say about that with the judge. And that, well, you know what? Let me do this. I'm going to tell you why I have a lot of confidence in David Shelburne. Let's go back to John Cleese. John Cleese, who said he had never seen a barrister quite like that before. Let me see if I can find that. Very interesting. Let me see here. Oh, there it is right there. So I'm going to set that up for you. If you could recall, he was talking to the Easter Island head. I'm sorry, the reporter formerly known as an Easter Island head, Camilla Tominey. Oh, man. Oh, the shade. Oh, the shade. So, yeah, I want you to hear the words of John Cleese. I hope that you can hear this clearly. It's right here, you guys. I got it for you.
For so long that they sort of felt that the rules didn't apply to them. So I went along because I wanted to hear what was going on in that particular case. And I saw a very clever barrister called Sherburne completely demolish the Daily Mail guy who was in charge of finance.
Although some of the late entries, some of the witnesses that Hugh Grant...
I want you to hear that again. He saw an attorney named Shelburne completely destroy them. So let me do that again for you.
So they've been so powerful for so long that they sort of felt that the rules didn't apply to them. So I went along because I wanted to hear what was going on in that particular case. And I saw a very clever barrister called Sherman completely demolish the Daily Mail guy who was in charge of finance.
Although some of the late entries, some of the witnesses that Hugh Grant and indeed Prince Harry wanted to call to some of the other trials have not been allowed. I mean, do you have
there
sympathy?
were two of those, and they were very late, and they were not allowed on the grounds that it would take the trial too long. The judge was trying to keep the schedule.
Yes.
But they don't need those anyway. They were just extras. They've got plenty on the Mirror, and they're going to, I think, destroy the Mirror, which is at the top level a good thing. And I hope they replace them with good people.
You talked about.
They've got plenty on the Mirror, and they're going to, I think, destroy the Mirror, which is.
I wanted to hear that twice. I wanted to hear that twice. I think they're going to destroy the Mirror. Joan Lawman, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Ebony Cotton, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And by the way, Joan Lawman, thank you so much for being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. So there you have it. There you have it. I know. I love him. That was bang on the spot. You name it. Spot on. Love it. So, for that reason, I'm not so worried. As he said, a brilliant attorney, lawyer, barrister, whatever. So let's see how it goes. He's not just some country solicitor. That is David Sherborne. So I'm expecting a lot. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. So moving on to this one, here's another angle of the anarchy that was taking place. I mean, it's like a camp out scene for, I guess, the most influential royal in the country. And that, of course, would be Prince Harry, not the rest of that lot, but Prince Harry, I mean, obviously is the most influential in the royal family. And dare I say the most popular. Now, how much some of those royalists like him is not the point. But when it comes to popularity, I mean, let's face it, he's the last word. So, but yeah, so it was a lot. And so they were camped out there for hours because they kept, and every time a black cab pulled up, they were like, is that? They were like a bunch of those like prairie dogs, or what is it, the meerkats or whatever they are, those ones that stand up on their hind legs and they all kind of look around and sync. Oh yeah, they were just like buzzing around like locusts, the whole lot of them. And look at the size of some of those cameras. Look at the size of some of those cameras. So I was actually very glad that Harry did not show up today. You know, still he's going to have to appear at some point. But this seems to be another location of the court, or perhaps another entrance to the court, because if you guys remember the High Court, it was this very Gothic looking building. So I don't know if this is attached to it, you know, if this is like a new wing of it or something like that, but they're waiting. And then right here, Chris Shipp with a P, not a T. You guys remember Chris Shipp with a P, not a T. Judge Mr. Justice. That's weird. Why not just say Judge Fancourt? But anyway, said he was a little surprised Harry would not attend court, given he'd asked witnesses to be available the day before their evidence was due in case things could start sooner. Harry is suing Mirror Group newspaper, claiming journalists acted unlawfully. Well, over here on the right, you can see where Royal Suitor says David Sherborne. See, I call him Shelbourne. I'm thinking Sidney Sheldon for some reason. Shelbourne is Sherborne. David Sherborne Prince Harry's attorney, anticipated that opening speeches would take a full day to outline the 33 articles that are the basis of Harry's case. I'm confident he'll ensure it does. The judge wanted witnesses available early in case they're ahead of schedule. So this judge realizes that this is a very big case. And I'm not going to hate on the judge for expecting things to be very efficient and, if possible, even get ahead of schedule. And that buys you some time just in case later on, if there's some kind of anything. I mean, if someone can get sick or someone could whatever, and then that could be a day's court that they miss. So I understand that. So he doesn't want to delay sooner rather than later. But apparently, Harry was not needed today. So let's hope the judge is not going to trip about that. Let's see. David Sherborne, barrister, is extremely experienced in representing A-listers and represented Harry's mom many years ago. Yeah, and like I said, I really, really trust his hair. I mean, that is a magnificent mane. And so my only big question is, what kind of product does he use in his hair? I'm just like morbidly curious about what kind of product he actually uses in his hair. How superficial of me. But yeah, so let me see here. Nathalando Niandeni says, hello, Baron and all squatties. Hope you had a wonderful Monday. May God hedge protection be around Harry throughout this trial in Jesus' name. I'll say amen to that. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so that's Chris Ship with a P, not a T. And then right here it says, Prince Harry will be first senior royal in the witness box since 1891. The Duke of Sussex is testifying against the Mirror Group newspaper over phone hacking allegations. So yes, it's true. Harry is going to be the first one in a very long time to do such a thing. But, depending on how things go, he certainly won't be the last. Let me see here. I think this is a sign of things to come, because after this, I believe Harry is going to set a precedence for members of the royal family. A lot of this kind of thing has been held back because of the Queen. I'm going to just make a little comparison. After Anna Wintour leaves the Vogue magazine, who knows what's going to happen to it, because I think people identify Vogue with Anna Wintour. The fact that everybody knows who the editor is means that people identify with the editor as a brand almost equally to the magazine itself, if not more so. You can't really have one without the other. Well, that's a good thing for sales, but it's a bad thing for the ultimate future of the brand, because then that means that people will have high expectations, and they will expect tradition. They don't want things to change. And I think if you look at the royal family, it has been the same way. The Queen was there for 70 years. Nothing ever changed. There was really no progress that, was like of a common sense type. I mean, yeah, they had to modernize certain things, kicking and screaming the whole way, with a bunch of debate and, of course, too much input from the men in gray suits. But in this information age, for all of the prince and princess and other members of the royal family that comes after, I think it's going to be forever changed because of what Prince Harry is doing right now. Now, that is exactly what Prince Harry is interested in. He wants to make sure that the next group that comes along does not have to endure what he had to go through. And from the looks of things, that is exactly the situation that's being set up at Kensington Palace as we speak. So take a look here. R.S. Locke went on to say, as Prince Harry versus the Mirror Group shifts to Prince Harry's specific claims this week, attorneys will make their opening argument today, with Harry set to give testimony starting tomorrow. After an evening flight from the U.S., it's unclear if he'll attend some part of today's hearing. Well, that was I'm going to say about 7 hours ago. Obviously, he was not there. So that was her thoughts about it. And here, Rebecca Berry says the Duke of Sussex flew in yesterday evening from L.A. Don't know how they know that, but after attending his daughter's birthday, there was discussion in court about when Prince Harry will arrive. His barrister says travel and security arrangements make it trickier. He's expected here tomorrow to give evidence. So that's a very key point. Very key point. Is that Harry has security claims. Security. What do you call it? His security is paramount, of course, right? And so for that reason, as his attorney says, things are a little trickier. So even though the tabloid media is claiming that Harry missed the court date because of Lily's birthday, we don't know that to be true. If you fly international from the U.S., so many times they're overnight flights. So if you're going east, they're usually overnight flights. Every time I've traveled to Europe, it's always been you board the plane in the evening, like 6 p.m., 5:30, 6 p.m. And when you get to Europe, it is, what time? Like 7 in the morning, something like that. I can't recall, but it's early morning. You know, people are headed to work. They're doing their commute, and you're heading in from the airport. So I think that, of course, is a factor that one has to consider. And he does have security concerns. So we don't know if Harry's going to use his own personal security. I'm assuming that nothing has been worked out with that, and so he will use his own personal security. But they have to get things in place for him. So that's that. There is concerns, and especially with the hateful tabloid media. Yeah, I want him to take every precaution possible. Let me see. It's longer flight from California. Yeah. From Boston, it takes about 6 hours, right? And from the Midwest, it's about 8 hours. So I'm guessing it's probably 10 hours, 10 or 11 hours coming from California. So yeah, a coast-to-coast flight is maybe 4 hours? I think if you go from New York to LA, is that about 4 hours? So yeah, there you go. It's a longer flight. So here, proceedings. Oh my goodness, can I see that? Let me see. Okay, proceedings, end of the day. That brings an end to today's session. The court is not due to sit next week and will return in June when Prince Harry is expected to give evidence in his civil trial against Mirror Group newspaper. So this must be a little older. Let me see here. The brief moment before we exit the court, as legal counsel discuss with the judge how the royals should be addressed in court. This is interesting. Initially, they appeared to opt for Your Grace, followed by Sir. So they will address Harry as Your Grace. That's what their initial thing was. before agreeing to settle on a final decision before he begins his testimony. Before we leave you today, here's a quick recap of what we've heard today. So, ex-lawyer Marcus Partington, the sole witness for today, was probed on his knowledge of alleged unlawful activity at the Mirror Group titles. He denied a suggestion by Prince Harry lawyer David Sherborne that a letter he wrote to to the police, that is, right? Okay, yeah, I can see that. Following a journalistic arrest in 1999 was misleading. Mr. Partington told the court that infringing on a person's privacy was a matter of editors for the editors, and the legal team that is did not. Oh my goodness! When it's a black background, not need to know the source of the story to give evidence. Probe on the previous comment he made about a former People journalist being London's best criminal, Mr. Partington. I want to call him Paddington Bear. Mr. Paddington Bear denied it was related to phone hacking and was instead about a tobacco import sting. Oh, yeah, that's exciting journalism. A tobacco import sting. Is that code for some other type of smoking product? The former lawyer denied that he deleted emails spanning parts of the period the claim covers to conceal his knowledge of unlawful intelligence gathering. Oh, that burns my eyes. So the unlawful information gathering trial against the Mirror is on hiatus this week. Prince Harry is scheduled to appear in person in London High Court and give witness testimony on June 6 and 7. Right. So apparently this was a tweet from R.S. Locke reminding, well, actually, she retweeted this to remind us that the 6th and the 7th is the actual date. And of course, you're going to have the derangers that are going to say, oh, Harry was irresponsible and all that kind of stuff. Well, if you're listening, hate listeners, just remember, Harry was not scheduled to give testimony, and it was agreed upon by all parties involved until the 6th and the 7th. He was not expected to give testimony today. So as far as what they're saying, that the judge wanted people there a day early just in case, yeah, fine. But, and I wonder if it wasn't Prince Harry, how likely would it have been even noticed, because it's such a high profile case? I wonder if that has any reason why it was even noticed that Prince Harry wasn't present, or was it just a simple case of his attorney alerting the judge, okay, he's not going to be here. So I don't know, but it's much to do about nothing. Harry will be there tomorrow. In all likelihood, he's already in the country. And and I'm trying to recall, I don't remember if I was expecting him on the 6th and 7th or what. Actually, I think I was expecting him on June 8th, to be honest with you. I remember there was a date, but I don't remember when, but maybe it was the 6th and I just forgot. So right here, you can see the 5th in line to the throne. Harry will be the first senior royal since 1891 to do so, meaning an event which was already expected to be a big deal here in the UK will potentially now have the world's attention. Well, isn't that a relief? Because otherwise they would try to bury this case, wouldn't they? The Duke of Sussex did appear in the High Court in London earlier this year for a different lawsuit against the publisher of the Daily and Sunday Mail tabloid, but he was not a witness in this instance. Harry is expected to fly in from California on Monday, 5 June, to watch the outline in the highly publicized case against Mirror Group newspaper being argued in the High Court in London. He will then be cross-examined on both Tuesday and Wednesday, although the trial itself runs until the end of June. So that's the other thing. They are trying to, and I wonder if it's an audience of one that they're doing this. But I saw one of the reporters, I guess it was BBC or I don't know which network it was, but they were saying that, oh, this is so dangerous. And Harry, good point, Angela Thomas. Harry, what did they say? Oh, he's putting himself at risk. If he gets cross-examined, it can be very jarring and blah, 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 blah. This is a veteran of war. You know what I'm saying? This is a veteran of war, not little Nell from the country. So I'm going to assume that with the truth on Harry's side, it's not like he has to lie about anything. If there was a chance that he was lying about something, which there certainly is not. Oh, yes, that's right, B10. I forgot. Yeah, now I remember. Maybe that's why that 6-6 stuck in my head. Thank you. They're trying to frighten someone. I don't know if they're trying to make themselves feel better, if they're trying to frighten Harry, or if they're trying to frighten people that support Harry. They're certainly not going to intimidate Harry's attorney, and I don't think there's any likelihood that they can possibly intimidate Harry, but they're trying it, and they're trying to set up this scenario where Harry is so shaken by the event that he's some stammering mute who is unable to articulate his answers, and that he is going to somehow throw the case or whatever. It's a nice try, and I get why they want people to believe that, but all that's going to do is make more people pay attention to the case, and it's going to bring more attention to the British tabloid media. But yeah, that was the assertion, is that this is a very dangerous thing, and Harry doesn't know what he's getting into. Yes, as a matter of fact, Church Nelly, as you know, anytime I say something like that, you know we have to reach out to Kensington Palace.
Obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
It's a wonderful family, and members that I have met have achieved a lot. And something else she said, it's a wonderful family, and members that I've met have achieved a lot. Is that code for have been given a lot? Because, yeah, okay. As you say. So check this out. This is fun. How fun is this? So there's a YouGov poll out there with Prince Harry and the Mirror in court today. And remember, the court of public opinion is very impactful. It doesn't mean that it changes things directly. 73% of Britons think it is definitely or probably true that journalists hacked royal phones, and 72% believe that the senior execs and editors at the newspaper knew it was going on, meaning hoghead. I think that covers hoghead too, doesn't it? And then it goes on to say 7 in 10 Britons believe that journalists hacked the phones of senior royals, and that senior execs and editors at the newspaper in question were aware. Do you think it's true or false that journalists previously hacked the phones, voicemails of senior royals? And so, definitely true, 24%, and 49% says probably true. And only 7% of hateful, spiteful, evil, ignorant people says probably false, definitely false, and I don't know. Yeah, there's just a handful that said, duh, I don't know. Duh, duh, duh. Don't ask me. Duh. Well, thank you. You've been helpful. Duh, that's okay. So, and do you believe that it is true or false that senior executives and editors at the newspaper in question were aware that journalists were hacking the phones, voicemails of senior royals? Uh, Almost the same numbers, isn't it? Almost the same numbers. So, including, I don't know. So, yeah, there you go. And of course, like anybody else, if I assume that the numbers are accurate, then I think, okay, so this poll was done properly. But if it's not a poll that is favorable to the Sussexes, then of course I am ready to call my barrister. Hi, Nancy Herlock. Duh. Oh man. So right here it says courtiers who briefed against Harry and Meghan will be outed, says commentator. So the two clips that you see on the left side, I saw those on the Twitter, and I wanted to make sure that they were the real deal. Well, apparently, a journalist and commentator has said that those who have briefed against Harry and Meghan will be outed in the upcoming documentary. Well, I don't think that's exactly how it happened. I don't think that they spoke directly about who the perps were, but courtiers who briefed against Meghan and Harry will be outed in the latest that is Netflix documentary, according to foreign correspondent Catherine Philp. You almost think the name got cut off, but that's how it's spelled, Philp. I hope I'm saying it right, Philp. Miss Philp. Maybe they were trying to save some money. Miss Philp took to Twitter to share her thoughts about the docuseries, which launches tomorrow at 8 a.m. 3 episodes will drop with another trio of episodes a week later. So maybe we didn't, because I don't recall anybody actually being outed except for, the stepmother. The stepmother. Harry said, I was sacrificed at her altar. But aside from the obvious, I don't recall anybody else being outed. So, hello, is this the Daily Mail? Senior Royal here. Hello. Because, she smokes. So that's pretty much how the phone call would go. Hello. Is this the Daily Mail? Senior Royal here. I mean, I bet you could smell the secondhand smoke through the phone receiver. But yeah, that's probably about how it went. Hello? Senior Royal here. Anyway, so I would imagine that is kind of how things happened, allegedly. Either way, somebody was leaking, and they were given facts and figures and time slots and everything that would not have been available to the average mortal. So if it wasn't possible for the average mortal to do that, then obviously it was an immortal. It was I would say probably a reptilian inbred invertebrate with a bad cigarette and habit, possibly, allegedly, in my opinion, allegedly. So. Oh, thank you, Nancy Herlock. And oh, let me get rid of this silky chicken. So yeah, there you go. Right here, just so you know who we're speaking about, she is a longtime foreign correspondent, Times of London, Baghdad, Jerusalem, Beirut, Delhi, Washington, D.C., I suppose, Jakarta, what is that? Okay, that place, and Kiev, and where else? Scotland, Cornish by origin. Okay. Oh, is that? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's some of the places where so she knows what she's talking about. And then, of course, the fact that to so many people in the business, this was really common knowledge that these leaks were taking place. It was like one of the biggest open secrets. And hey, BW, it was like one of the biggest open secrets. So they would pretend that that it came from a source or an insider, and sometimes they just made up stuff like Camilla Tominey. And then other times when you ask them about their source, then they'll say, well, just based on certain history and such, they don't want to tell you at that point that they made it up. So yeah, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors that they use. It's a lot of double talk when it comes to sources and insiders. So the whole thing about the docuseries is that it really called into question, what is a royal reporter? What are their credentials? Where do they get the information from? And they didn't want to just come out and say it, so they gave you a whole bunch of double talk. All right, so right here, oh wait, I can't see that. What's at stake for Prince Harry as he gives evidence in phone hacking trial? What's at stake? Well, this is actually an article that's in the Guardian. The Duke of Sussex is part of a 100-strong lawsuit against I didn't know it was 100. I didn't know it was 100. I thought it was just the celebrities and notable people. And of course, Doreen Lawrence, Baroness Doreen Lawrence. Let me see. Over allegations of hacking, but his participation is unprecedented for a royal. This article is extracted from our first. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post that on the community tab to share with you guys, so you can take a more thorough look at it. But that is in the Guardian, so you can see the headline there if you want to search for it yourself. But I'm hoping that I'm expecting big things from the Guardian after what they've done with the with the Coronation. I am expecting a lot from them, a lot. So today, speaking of reptilians, look at who was on GMB News this morning. Mrs. Magoo and Simon Var Sinister. The Duke of Sussex is set to give evidence in court case against Mirror Group newspaper linked to the voicemail interception, securing information through deception, and hiring private investigators for unlawful activities, to say the least. Well, people complained. People were outraged that these two very biased, horrible people were on TV. As a matter of fact, let me go down here. The pair were quite critical of Prince Harry's involvement in the case, with Levin saying he wouldn't have the experience to deal. Well, he wouldn't have the experience to deal with all the questions from the lawyers, and described him as a moaning and groaning individual. So that was her take on it. She said that he wouldn't be able to handle the questions. 2 tours of duty in Iraq. He lost his mother at a young age. I don't know how Harry would be intimidated by some country solicitor in a courthouse. I just don't see that. Viewers of the ITV morning program were overall not best pleased with the comments from the pair. You hear that? The public turned against them. Plenty of viewers took to Twitter to express their displeasure at the comments concerning Prince Harry, with one writing, "I really try not to be horrible about people, but these two really tested me. Jealousy and spite from people old enough to know better. Sickening stuff." Another put it, "So much for balance. These two were just so biased, it was embarrassing." The issue is not having someone on Prince Harry's side on the program was brought up by many, with one saying, "To Harry and Meghan haters on the panel," that is, two Harry and Meghan haters on the panel, GB News, levels of balance from GB News. So there you go. They were, I hope they do one of those things where they complain to Ofcom. That would be pretty cool. Now, I have a little soundbite from the Jeremy Vines show that I'm going to share with you guys. Let me get that set up. So I don't know the names of either one of those ladies, but it may be a little difficult to hear, but we'll try to manage. I don't. He may not be able to. Well, I did follow him around for 15 months. She brought that up again. I did follow him around for 15 months. And you followed him, but you didn't talk to him.
Compound your belief that we just don't need a monarchy when you hear things like they're making deals potentially with the Rupert Murdoch group, or that they're settling out of court.
Yeah, I don't like the idea, and I think you're absolutely bang on, but I don't like the idea that they can pick and choose what we know about them. I mean, I understand that everyone's entitled to their privacy, but we saw with Harry and Meghan, for example, and Meghan's, the letter to her dad and everything that was just fed to the press, and they didn't step in there. They didn't use their special relationship with the press to protect her, which I think they should have done. And yet we know about alleged affairs in other parts of the royal family that haven't come to light, probably because of their agreements. And that to me just sounds shady. Like that isn't the behavior of a monarchy.
But
one more time.
Does this just compound your belief that we just don't need a monarchy when you hear things like they're making deals potentially with the Rupert Murdoch group, or that they're settling out of court?
Yeah, I don't like the idea, and I think you're absolutely bang on, but I don't like the idea that they can pick and choose what we know about them. I mean, I understand that everyone's entitled to their privacy, but we saw with Harry and Meghan, for example, and Meghan's, the letter to her dad and everything that was just fed to the press, and they didn't step in there. They didn't use their special relationship with the press to protect her, which I think they should have done. And yet we know about alleged affairs in other parts of the royal family that haven't come to light, probably because of their agreements. And that to me just sounds shady. Like that isn't the behavior of a monarchy.
But
so notice that they mentioned an alleged affair. And we've heard no mention of that. And if they could allegedly handle that with their special relationship with the press, then why would you not use your superpowers to deal with things where Meghan was concerned? But instead, we know that they somehow were feeding information to the press. I'm more than sure of that. Who and what was said, I don't know for certain. Also, we do know that Thomas Markle Sr. did mention that he had a Jason's phone number that he could call. Which Jason? Well, I'll let you figure that out. And then let's go to what's her name? Carolyn Graham. Do you guys remember her? That was the writer for the Daily Mail, an old Dixie from the South. She was right from the land of Dixie, posing for pictures with her mama in front of a Confederate flag. That's another person who wrote for the Daily Mail and spent a lot of time with Thomas Markle Sr. And from all accounts, it seems like they were playing patty cakes. Ugh. And I do mean patty cakes. I don't mean anything else but patty cakes. A little childlike game where you kind of, those patty cakes, euphemistically speaking. So, but they were very cozy, all hugged up on the couch and all hugged. So I don't know what was going on. It looked like patty cakes to me. So what I'm saying is there seems to be a triangular connection between certain members of the family, the press, and of course, anyway, there just seems to be a connection. And take from that whatever you will, but it just seemed to be a bit of a connection. So it is common knowledge. Everybody knows about it. We all know that the calls are coming from inside the house. And then, of course, as I have said over and over again, Dan Wooten said, it's much easier. It's so much easier for them to blame anything uncomfortable on racism rather than address the fact that the negativity towards them is coming from inside the royal family. So there you go. Isn't that all you need to know? The calls are coming from inside the house. How many times? The thing is, there's no punishment for it. There's no punishment for it. There's not going to be anything done about it. They're going to just pay out some money when Harry wins his case, as they always do. I think that they're going to try to make sure that nobody goes bankrupt, of course. Not an individual, but the magazine, perhaps. We'll see. But I don't have high hopes, but I think what Harry wants is to make sure that there is a permanent record and that these people will be held accountable. I'm sure he doesn't want anybody thrown into a blast furnace or anything like that. He's not sending for the gallows or anything. However, there is a malicious intent that may be established in the court, and I hope that it is brought out into the open. So right here, you can see Meghan Markle lawyer accuses senior palace figure of working against her. Here's some old headlines. Tabloid stories about Prince Harry came from the royal family. And of course, Prince Harry blames hacking for press stories that came from the other royals. The Duke of Sussex is suing the publisher of the Daily Mirror. The newspaper denies hacking Harry's phone. So who you gonna believe? Who you gonna believe? Now, one of the squatties made this. I love it. You got Piers Morgan, the sad little man, Lion Levin, Dick Palmer, with Maureen. Unfair stalking legend. Let me see. Exclusive in press now. Written by BS and directed by the royal family. That is pretty clever. I cannot see that other print, but that is pretty clever. Didn't they try to do that and Harry refused to accept any settlement, or am I wrong about that? But yeah, and what is let's see, they will probably settle before they have to name of the royal family members who briefed them. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Now, look who's back. Yes, look who's back. Her face is just as plump and full and sculpted as though it was created by angels, right? However, within her beats the heart of something else. I just don't trust her. She is like in it up to her eyeballs, and she knows it, and she doesn't want to lose her job, and she's not going to lose her job. She's back. She's going to keep her job. And what's his name? Oh, let me just get to it. Let me just get to it. And by the way, hi, BS. Hello, Ivy here. Hey, Ivy. Messages don't seem to be scrolling up, but there are recent posts appearing out of sequence. Not to worry, I can hear everything fine. Cool. Thank you so much for being here. Maybe you might want to try to refresh your page, though it might be just a little glitchy. So if you do a refresh, that might help, maybe. So right there, look at that. There was a mysterious donor. 20,000 pounds, 64 pence was donated anonymously. Now, I was going to go and try to find that so I can do my own screenshot. I couldn't find it, but I am going to assume. But anyway, notice continent Antarctica here. I heard from the whisperer snow, the whispering snow, that is, that we were the only continent that haven't donated to the Sussex Squad annual birthday fundraiser in honor of Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. I'd like to send a shout out to Sussex Community Event. Is it Joe Diva? Zuzu Devo? Abhorrent something? Blazing Hussy? Okay, fellow Sussex Squad and everyone who shared and donated, hashtag services universal. So is it true that someone donated 20,000 pounds? I wonder if that's the biggest donation. Somebody said there may have been a big mega donor, but I don't know. I didn't have a chance to see it myself, but perhaps. But if you made that donation, and you can hear me all the way in Antarctica, thank you so much for that contribution. That is amazing. Antarctica. I'm trying to think, who has been to Antarctica before? Can you guys think of anyone who's been to Antarctica? Someone who may be a squatty? Think about that for a minute. But yeah, that's outstanding. And then here's a photo that I think most of us have never seen, at least I haven't. This appears to be Buckingham Palace. I think I recognize that outfit from the, is it really? Let me see. Let me go back and see. Oh, yeah, it is 20 pounds. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think the pound is what threw me. Okay, thank you. All right. So I guess the big thing is that somebody from Antarctica. Anyway, I threw a photo of a penguin in there just for fun. I threw a penguin in there. So yes, I think this was from the absolute last Sussex event that looks like Buckingham Palace. Eugenie, Jack and I wanted to share the news that we had our little boy, Ernest George Ronnie Brooksbank, on the 30th of May, 2023 at 8:49, weighing 7.1 pounds. She adds in an Instagram post, he is named after his great-great-great-grandfather, his grandpa George, and my grandpa Ronald. That must be on Fergie's side, right? Augie is loving being a big brother already. How sweet is that? Hello, Jacqueline Squash. And besides, our God Almighty is the righteous judge who sits high but always looking low. Praise the Lord, somebody. Thank you so much, Jacqueline Squash, the official chaplain of Royal Sussex. Did you have one before? Did I miss it? Oh, there it is. Good evening, Baron, moderators, and Squatty. Let me see. Our God Almighty, the God of angels, army is going to bless our Duke of Sussex as we pray without ceasing, because the fervent prayers of the righteous avails. Thank you so much for that. And I will say a hallelujah to that one. Thank you so much. So this guy right here really disappoints me. Really, really disappoints me. Peter Thatchell, he's like the ultimate protester. I mean, he will protest the opening of a petrol station. And yet he is the latest individual that appears to have given cover to that person. The large gap between that person and his partner led to outcry. And then he goes on to mention, but Boris Johnson was 23 years older than Carrie Simone, and in a position of authority over her. There was no furor over the relationship or claims that Johnson abused his power. Homophobic double standard. The thing is, I have heard so many different variations. I have seen photos that would indicate, well, actually, I've seen a photo, a very disturbing photo that would indicate when the person who just lost his job, when he met the person in question, right? And so I am so disappointed, Miriam P. That's exactly what I'm trying not to say. I am so disappointed that this gentleman, who is a member of the LGBTQ community, has decided that he was going to choose a side. And as a matter of fact, look at which medium he chose to do it. LBC News. From media coverage, you think that person was a murderer. Gosh, does that sound familiar? Or the R word. He did not commit any crimes. I've heard that before too, where this is concerned. So that's the human rights campaigner, Peter Thatchell, tells Lewis Goodall that lying is not a crime. This is so orchestrated. This is so orchestrated. And if he really feels this way, I am no less disappointed. But if he's doing this because he was encouraged to, I am severely disappointed with him. This is someone who's always campaigning for human rights. But he is saying with certainty that no crime was committed. Everybody is so certain that no crime was committed. My question is, how do you know? And what are you going to do if we find out otherwise? Now, there was someone that I saw a tweet today. Actually, no, I take it back. It was on YouTube. There was someone who said that there are people on the social media that are tweeting their experience with one of the people in question, and that the media is not picking it up. Is there any wonder why they're not picking it up? It has been established that there is talking points that is going to be repeated about this situation, and anything that's outside of those talking points is not going to see the light of day. at least not by any of the networks, not by any of the journalists. And as I said yesterday, it's all but done away with. They will get away with this, and they will go back on television. They will find work. They are not going to lose anything. And it seems as though the media is a part of this. The media is okay with this. There won't be any outside forces that will intervene to make this not be so. So that's it, you guys. It's a done deal. Or as I like to say, the fix is in. The fix is in. And you know what? It's none of my business. It's none of my business. But for the fact that they allowed so much animosity and hatred to flourish against the Duchess of Sussex, I wouldn't even know about this. But it is the hypocrisy that is the core of my disdain for all of those people. It's the hypocrisy. It's a good old boys network. It's an older white men's network. It is the very top of the pyramid. Power keeps power. The people in power seem to identify with each other. Now, the fact that they seem to identify with each other where this is concerned and they're okay with it should be disturbing to most people, but it doesn't seem to make a difference. And already you can see how the public has been so impacted by all of this made up story, this narrative, these talking points. People have been so influenced that you can't get that man his job back fast enough. They want him back at work yesterday. So I'm speechless about it. I don't know what to do with that. This right here, this scene right here. If this was anybody else, and let's just say it, if this was the Sussexes, if this was the Sussexes about any topic, any subject, anything, just like Meghan goes out for a hike, and she did that so that she could disrupt the coronation. Meghan doesn't go to the coronation, and she's disrupting the coronation. Meghan wears a watch, and it's enough to throw Britain into a constitutional crisis. Maybe Meghan should get a vape pen and sit on the park bench. Maybe then they would think that it was all innocent and there was nothing contrived about it. So, and of course, my response to the whole park bench was that one right there. So Shelly L says, hi, Baron. How old was that person when Now, see, this is the thing. I have seen a photo with the two of them, if it was a real photo, that would turn the clock back even further. Okay? But that's not what's important, according to the media. We go by what was told to us, what was said by Forrest. We got to listen to Forrest. We don't listen to anybody else. Whatever anybody else says is a trifle inconvenience. We pay no attention to that. Even if it could be proven, that doesn't matter, because the media says something else. So I believe that it was, much further back in time, but it doesn't matter because nobody's going to listen to that, because they have made up their mind that they know exactly when, where everybody was, right? And that's that. So thank you so much for the super chat. But yeah, I can't prove anything. I'm just going by some of the information that I've seen that says otherwise. But if everybody is on board with saying the same thing that is in front of a camera or on the microphone and in the media over there, I don't think it makes a difference. I don't think it makes a difference. So after today, now that Blondie's back, I'm not expecting anything further to happen. I think that's the end of it. They have made up their mind. They have come up with a narrative. They're going to stay on message, and that's the end of it. They have even gotten one of the most notorious human rights protesters to, you know, and I'm going to tell you something, you guys. Along with this tweet that I saw, someone posted a video. Someone posted a video on Twitter of him justifying something that has nothing to do with this situation. Justifying something, I'll just say that, justifying something, as far as I'm concerned, giving legitimacy to something that you'll just have to see it for yourself. I'll leave it at that. If you can find the tweet and it's still there, you'd have to see it for yourself. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know that he's such a credible witness, and I wouldn't want him on my side, but okay. So, like I said, I just unfollowed this person. Not exactly who I thought he was. It's just incredible how so many people in authority are okay. You know, it's like if they had these fanatical, evangelistic, what do you call it, politicians that we have in Congress, those nut jobs, there's no way in the world they could bury something like this. They would shout from the rooftops. But because there's an absence of that, we can't even expect that what is that vicar with the afro? He's not going to say anything. The one that they had accused of being remember him? The one they had accused of being a pimp. You can't expect any help from him. They didn't already call him a pimp, and he survived that. So he definitely ain't gonna call out nobody. So that's the end of it, you guys. I hate to say it, but that's that. Unless we hear from the other party involved, it's over. They have gotten their way. It is the height of hypocrisy. It is wrong on so many levels that they can drive someone else to the brink and deny that she's telling the truth, deny her humanity, deny her human rights. But when it's one of theirs, they can say anything and they can do anything, and they will close ranks to protect each and every one of them. Even after they're dead and buried, they still are under that veil of protection. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the British tabloid media. They protect their own, just like they protect who they choose to protect in that royal family firm institution. The same thing goes for that protection racket called the British tabloid media. And that's that. There's nothing to be said, nothing to be done. Like I said, unless that other person comes forward, which I'm assuming that they've already established that that's not going to happen, it's over. It's over. Everybody not just keeps their job, but they probably get a better job, right? And then, of course, old crocodile tears. What's her name? Allison Hamlin. Yeah, old crocodile tears. she she could take her rightful place on the sofa. Couple of cushions, probably. She could take her rightful place on the sofa, and cash them checks as they come. Shelly L says maybe he told everyone if he goes down, he's taking them. Allegedly, probably. And if that's even the case, it's probably just implied. You have helped us, and we are going to help you. It's just understood that they're going to do that. It is understood. As a family, we're all really still struggling to process everything. Allison Crocodile Tear Hammond. I'm not okay. We're struggling. That was a tour de force performance. I haven't seen. Why she wasn't walking the red carpet at the Cannes Film Festival is a mystery to me, because this acting thing, she has that down. I'm telling you, I'm very frustrated by it. I am so frustrated at how easily this has been played out in the full light of day, and it's pretty much over with. I don't expect anything else. So the unseen hand, or whatever you want to call it, success. Oh man. Even invoking the name of Carolyn Flack, whatever, by any means necessary. They did it. By hook or crook, come hell or high water, they have made a success of it. And that's the end of the story. You can't prove anything different. Nobody's going to say anything different. And it's done. Yeah, thank you, Joy Moore. That's exactly what it is. Oh, man. I was going to make pancakes and we were out of maple syrup. And I didn't know where to find buttermilk. Oh, well, I'm going to leave Mrs. Buttersworth alone. I'm done with Mrs. Buttersworth. Look just like I do. So Cloud Nugget made this today. Let me see here. Another one of those creative things from Cloud Nugget. Let me see. Amphibians, reptiles, invertebrates, and insects. So a crackle of derangers, that is an amphibian, an army of frogs, a knot of toads, which includes, let me see, Camilla Tomini, Angela Levin, Ingrid Seaweed, and then, of course, a cloud of grasshoppers and an intrusion of cockroaches, which includes Hoghead and Robert Jobson. And who else is that? Maureen. That includes Maureen. And, of course, the next category is reptiles. So you have a basque of crocodiles, a mess of iguanas, a bale of turtles, the Daily Express, and a scourge of mosquitoes, a colony of ants. And then for invertebrates, you got Dickie Arbiter, you got Arthur, what's his name? Arthur Edwards. And then I don't know who that other person is, as a herd of dinosaurs. And then, of course, you have the Daily Mail, a rumba of rattlesnakes, a nest of vipers. You have the 4 senior royals, the morticians that you see up there, a flight of butterflies, and of course, a swarm of bees. And then for insects, you have a flight of dragons, the Daily Sun, a den of snakes, and a culture of bacteria. Oh, I love that one. A culture of bacteria. So you have Clarkson, you have York, and of course that person. And then the army of I can never say that, caterpillars, and a clutter of spiders. So good morning, squaddies. It's Squad Academy Day. How well do you know your amphibians, reptiles, invertebrates, and insects? So there you go. That is a lot of fun. I love that. Thank you so much, Cloud Nugget, for that. Now, in case you guys didn't know it, there were some protests. I don't know how this started. I wasn't even sure that this was today, but I'm assuming that it was since they just posted it. King Charles III, the chief must be feeling the love. So let me see. I do have a video for that one. I do have a video. Let me find it. Or do I? I thought I did. Okay, here it is. So apparently, the amount of people signed up to the movement doubled after those arrests that took place on Coronation Day. So they may have suppressed their voices for the moment, but it seems, for that moment, should I say, but it seems like they came roaring back. So there you go. Protest alert. Edinburgh, Scotland coronation, a Scottish coronation, 5 July. More information to come. So I do believe that there's a second coronation, although nobody's talking about it. But I do believe that Charles has a coronation in Edinburgh. So maybe that's why he's in Transylvania right now. Maybe he needs to replenish himself with blood so that he'll have the strength to get through another coronation. So if you are in Transylvania and you notice that there are people missing, just remember there is a member of the British royal family about, and they, you know, those amoebas need their blood. So, is there nothing sacred? Eurostar acts direct trains from London to Disneyland Paris over Brexit. The high-speed rail firm blames departures from EU and, of course, the pandemic for a decision to halt service next summer. So the end of an era. There was a chance that you could go from London to the theme park, but that no longer exists because of Brexit. And of course, to make sure that I remind you how this happened, I want to bring in Exhibit A, Nigel Farage, one of the ugliest creatures ever to inhabit this earth. Nigel, please don't let him procreate Farage. Please never let that DNA get any further than that meat sack that it's in right now. Ugh. Hey, Lauren. And also, Ofcom will not take action over Oja Ado. Is that how you say her name? Terrible white comment on ITV. was it terrible or was it honest when she just pointed out that, yep, I see what is that? It was like a horror movie. I see white people. She was just saying that we have gone from the diversity of the Westminster Abbey back to the balcony where there is a complete lack of diversity. I don't think she meant anything mean-spirited or hateful or spiteful by it. She was just pointing out the obvious. You had a member of color in your family, and then you drove her away. You drove her away. You drove her children away. You decided rather than embrace modernity that you would keep turning the clocks back to the 1950s. So if that's what you want, that's what you got. I see white people. That's all she said. And with that, you guys, I am done. Thank you all so much for being here today on Royal Sussex. Happy Monday to you. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. Thank you all for your generous contribution. Thank you so much for the what do you call it? For the for the generous contribution. Oh, what else am I thanking you for? Isn't there something else I usually say? I can't think. So anyway, thank you. I do think, let me see. I know she pushed the time back. I was going to go on later, but then I saw she had pushed the time back. Let me see if Anne is on. Wait, was she on and went off already? Let me see. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, she was only on for like 30 minutes. Okay, so I guess I won't join you guys over there. All right, so then that's that. Thank you, Lorna Williams, Raffaella Bertoni, Deborah Bowens. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, I see that. I was actually trying to get off of here a little sooner because I knew she was coming up, but oh well. All right, you guys, have a good day. Enjoy your evening. Have a good night to those of you in the other time hemispheres. And as for me, as a family, we're all struggling. We're trying to process this. So that's what I'm doing. I'm still trying to process it because I'm telling you, they are getting away with it. I can't stand it. I can't stand a bully, and I don't like that. It's just so unfair. It is so unfair. So everybody's struggling. I'm struggling to understand how this happened. Oh, well, let's see. Where's our queens? All right, our queen of hearts and our queen of everything. As usual, and by the way, you guys, thank you everyone who signed that card for Cookies and Cream. There's a card on the community tab for Cookies and Cream. Her father passed away, and so if you want to leave a kind thought or something like that, let me see. Is there a link for that? Let me see if I can find the link for that exact. I don't know if this works or not. Let me see. So there's that. And then if you click on it, let me see what happens. Oh, well, if I click on it, it does that. But let me see. Oh, well. You know what it's supposed to do. But yeah, so that's it. So go to the community tab and you will find it. All right, I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. There we go. I think I've done that successfully. Okay. And then if you click on it, Well, it just takes you to the, takes you right there. Perfect. So yeah. But yeah, you'll see it. It says cookies and cream and family. So thank you all so much so far. Let me see. There's been 315. Wow. That is impressive. Thank you, everybody. Love it. Thank you very much. Oh, great. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I will see you guys. See you, Lauren. Thank you so much for joining us. Quite the honor, I must say. Okay. And then, last word of the day. That's what I'm missing. No, not the. No, not that one. No, not that one. Oh, okay. Audrey Teshina says, good night, all. See you tomorrow. Stay safe, please. That sounds like an ending to me. Black Queen? Yes, I think so. She's just taking some time. But yes, I do think so. We spoke, what was that, the other day? So yeah, aside from everything else, in good spirits, and I will definitely tell her that you asked about her. So I will do that. Thank you so much for asking. Okay. Oh, and thank you for the super chat. All right. So we are good. Yes. And with that, then let me put Harry up here today as we close out. There we go. And I'm going to cue the Ginger Adventure and see you guys tomorrow. And remember, there are no leaks in Montecito. No leaks at all.